I know most of us, we're building houses back home. We are buying cars and shipping them to Africa. We are buying property. We're buying this and that and sending to Africa. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that, because that is what we're all striving for. That is what we're all striving for. That is the goal. That is like the dream. But guess what? Guess what? And I hate to be the one to break it to you. Now, before I start, I just want to say that most of the time, before I pick a topic to discuss on this channel, what I do is I take time for silence. I reflect on my life. I go deep within. I reflect on the lessons that I've learned over the years, the mistakes that I've made. And then from there, I'm able to come up with something to share with you. I like to come from experience. I like to come from a place of learning, from a place of reflection. Doing it like that enables me to come from a place of experience. It also makes it possible for me to give you something that is authentic, something that you'll most likely relate to. And today's topic is one such topic, because in today's topic, I am the object lesson. As I talk about what I'm going to talk about in this video, I'll be giving examples of myself. These are things that I did, things that happened in my own life, and things that I've since learned from. So it is my hope that today, by the end of this video, you'll be able to learn something from this. So today's topic, as you can see by the thumbnail and the title, really I'm talking about some harsh truth, things that I learned the hard way. That's what I'm talking about today. And to sum it up, I'm talking about balance, having balance in our lives. Now, I'm going to break it all down, but the overall theme is balance. It's about balance. This is something that I feel us as people, we have relocated from our countries of origin to live abroad, to live in UK, US, Canada, Australia, South Africa, wherever you are in the world. If you're like me, you've relocated from your country of origin to settle in a foreign land. Chances are you are here because of economic reasons. I mean, let's call a thing a thing. We're not here for the weather, are we? The majority of us are here for economic reasons. We are here because we want to work, we want to raise money to improve our quality of life and so forth. Yes, there's a chunk of people who are here to learn. And again, within that group of people who are here to learn, a huge chunk of those people are hoping to find a job here or abroad, wherever they are. They hope to find a job and stay in that country, at least for a little while, to make money, to raise some money, to do something back home. So the bottom line is, we're here for economic reasons. We're here to work. We're not here to tour London. We're not here on a long holiday. We're here to work. That's the bottom line. I'm saying all of this because when we move from our countries of origin to settle abroad, we carry dreams for ourselves. Whether you're coming to work, you already got a job, or whether you come to study first, we have dreams for ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with having dreams, because without dreams, life is not worth living. I mean, you can't just be someone who lives without a hope for your future, without striving towards something. So in our case, immigrants, when we relocate, we hope for a better future. We hope to work, raise money, do something with our lives, something different, something better than the life we had before. Because if our lives were perfect before coming to the UK, US, Canada, if our lives were perfect, then there would be no need for us to move, would they? So this is where I tell you my story. When I came to the UK, I had dreams for myself. And to be honest, I can even say I had fantasies. Now, I'll get into that in a bit. So when I came to the UK, I had dreams, I had goals for myself. I told myself that my stay in the UK was going to be temporary. I had given myself 2 years maximum. And in those 2 years, I had calculated that if I earn a certain amount of money, then by the end of the month, I would have saved so much. So this much times 12 months in a year, then I will have this much by the end of the year. So the amount that I came up with times 2, for me in my mind, according to my calculations, it was enough to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So here I was working and studying at the same time. So while I was doing that, I didn't have time for anything else. I wasn't focusing on anything else. I was just focusing on working, studying, because to me, that was the goal. My goal was to raise money and go back home. So in a way, you could say I was living with a suitcase already packed. To put it metaphorically, I was living here in the UK, but my suitcase was packed. That's how I was living. Of course, 2 years went by, 3 years, I was still studying. Mind you, I told you I had a fantasy. In my mind, in my naive mind, I was here to raise money, and that goal was going to be achieved by myself within 2 years. I didn't think about anything else. I didn't think about my study, what kind of toll that was going to take on me, whether I would pass or not. There was nothing like that in my mind. So I was living like somebody who wasn't here permanently. As far as I was concerned, my real life was going to start when I go back to Zimbabwe. That is where my happily ever after was going to be. In the meantime, I was here to work, raise money, work, get that pound. That was my life. I did not buy clothes for myself. When I say I did not buy clothes for myself, I mean that I only bought clothes from the charity shops because they were cheap. For me, that was the only way to spend as little money as possible while I was here in the UK. As far as I was concerned, going to buy myself clothes in shops like Debenhams, House of Fraser, TK Maxx, all those shops, as far as I was concerned, it was a waste of money. There was no way I was going to do that because remember, I was here on a temporary basis. So I was determined to live like that. And also, I had no time for relaxation. I had no time to go to the gym. I had very little time to spend socializing. I say little because the only thing I allowed myself was to go to church. I went to church, came back home, went to work, came back home. I had no time to socialize, no time to build other connections, no time to spend with friends, doing friends things. I had no time for that because I had come here to make money. My life was about working. My life was about making money. My life was about scheming about making money, dreaming about making money, planning how to make more money. I had no time to attend events. I had no time to enjoy myself, not even to go out for a meal, not even to go to the cinema. That was not my business here. I was here to work, to raise that pound, and to do something back home. That was my goal. That was the reason I was here. But guess what? Meanwhile, the clock was ticking. Time was moving. Time was not waiting for me. I was not getting any younger. All those years, I was scheming. I was chasing that pound. All those years, time wasn't waiting for me. Time wasn't waiting for me to start my life in Zimbabwe. Time wasn't waiting for me to start enjoying my life in Zimbabwe. With each day that passed, that was me becoming more tired, older and weaker, because we know as we age, our body starts slowing down. I came here in my 20s and I remember the kind of energy that I had back then. I had so much energy. I could run around, do things. And even the working that I'm talking about, I had so much energy. I had the energy to work. But as I'm speaking right now, I am tired. I struggle to get out of bed sometimes because as you get older, as I said in my other videos, as you get older, things start popping up. You can watch my health videos. I talk about these things. I'm not trying to be negative about getting older. In fact, getting older or reaching a certain age is a gift. It's God's gift because there are many people who would have wanted to reach a certain age, but they were not able to. Their lives were cut short for one reason or another. I'm not trying to be negative at all, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just trying to demonstrate how I deprived myself all those years while I was chasing the money, while I was chasing the bag, how I did not give myself the chance to enjoy life, how I did not live a quality life, and how my life was miserable because of the way I lived. I did not have balance in my life. I did not give myself a full life. All the years that I wasted chasing the money that I do not have to this day. I still don't have the money that I was chasing. And that's the irony of it. And that's what I want to emphasize, or that's what I want to bring home in this video. The reason why some of us, if not most of us, are miserable in this country or in foreign countries is we don't have balance. Our lives are not balanced enough because we are focusing on one thing and one thing only, and that is to make money. But here's the funny part. Money will not buy you happiness. Yes, it helps. I know it helps, but money will not buy you happiness. Money will not buy you your health. Because remember, if you live a life where you are just working, you don't have time to rest, to relax. You don't have time to exercise. You don't have time to cook proper food because you need to work those shifts. Because there are people in this country, maybe it happens in other countries, but I speak for UK. I know for a fact there are people in this country who work. They work long days, and after working a long day, maybe they go home, sleep for a few hours, and then wake up and run to another shift. Other people will do an early shift and run to a late shift, or they will do an early shift and do a night shift, and then from the night shift they'll come and do an early shift. So it carries on like that because they're trying to make the money. And I get it. I understand our plight. I understand why we do that, because there was also a time in my life when I did that. What I did was, I had my main job, right? So what would happen was, if I was on annual leave from my main job, I would then take up another job somewhere else. I had like an agency, or I worked as bank somewhere else. So I would fill that annual leave with another job. Instead of me taking the time to rest, which I should have done, I took up another job. So that's how I lived. For many years, I lived like that. And my only rest was when I went to church. That was like my only day of rest. The rest of my days, I had to fill up with some shifts because I had to make that money. I had to raise that money. But here's the funny part. I had nothing. The more I worked, the little money I had. This is the funny thing. So this is why I'm talking about balance and why most of us are miserable in this country. We want to build our mansions. We want to start our companies back home. We want to do this and that so that we can go back and enjoy those things in the good weather, withdraw our money, the money that we have stashed in our banks. But is that the reality? Be honest with me. Is that the reality of most people? The answer most likely is it's not. That is not the reality of most people. Most of us now, we have debts. We have since taken mortgages. We have since bought cars. We have since got credit cards. We have kids who are going to school. We have commitments over here. If you're living that type of life where you don't have time to rest, where you don't even take a holiday, where you don't even go out for a meal, where you don't even go out to the cinema or whatever it is that you enjoy doing. You don't even have hobbies. You don't even do anything besides work. If that is the kind of life that you're living, you are cheating yourself. You're depriving yourself of something precious. Because guess what? This is your life. If you're going to be here for 5 years, 10 years, whatever amount of time that you've given yourself, make the most of that time over here. Live as if this is your permanent life. I'm not saying forget your goals, but what I'm saying is while you make those plans, while you work to have that kind of life that you envision for yourself, make the most of life here and now, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Life is too short. There are people who are losing their lives every day. There are people who are just passing away suddenly. I know it's not pleasant to talk about things like this, but it's the truth that we need to talk about because this is our reality. People like you and me, people who have moved from our country of origin to settle abroad. This is our reality. And unfortunately, for some people who think the way I used to think, unfortunately, they are not giving themselves a chance in life. They are not being fair to themselves. So what I'm saying is, while you work towards your goals and dreams, strike the right balance and take time to enjoy life. Go on holiday. If you can afford a holiday, why not go on holiday? Spending money on yourself is not a waste of money. And that's how I used to see things. I used to think that if I splurge on myself, if I buy myself a nice dress from House of Fraser or Debenhams, I'm wasting money. That's how I used to think. I would feel so guilty. Every time I bought something new for myself, I would feel so guilty. I would think, I could have sent that money back home. I could have saved that money. I could have bought this and that. Something that didn't involve me. That's how I felt. It took me a while for me to break out of that because it was making me miserable, to be honest. Because in as much as I didn't want to splurge on myself, I thought it was a waste of money. In as much as that was the case, I was also looking at other people. People who were going on holidays, people who were splurging on themselves, who were buying themselves new clothes, nice clothes, who were doing things for themselves. I was also looking at those people and asking myself, why is my life not like that? It was kind of screwed up because I was intentionally withholding things from myself. Maybe I did not have that awareness within me at the time because I had this mentality at the time. But now that I know better, I know that I was depriving myself of something precious because now the time is gone. All those years I spent depriving myself, all those years I spent feeling guilty about buying myself a new dress, going to a restaurant, going to the cinema, all those years I spent not doing that to treat myself. Yes, I'll never get back. But what I can do is I can share my experience with the hope that someone will watch this video and reflect on themselves, how they're living their lives, how they're treating themselves, how they're handling themselves. Because If you work that hard, then you deserve to splurge on yourself every now and again. You deserve to rest. You deserve to go on holiday. And the holiday doesn't have to be somewhere abroad. You can have a holiday in the UK. You can have a holiday within the country that you live in. You can have a holiday in the city that you live in the town that you live in. You can have a holiday. You just have to be creative about it. You just have to look around. If you take the time, you'll find that wherever you are, there are places you can go to have a good time. Why not treat yourself? Because you work so hard. Because what is the definition of thriving? Is it just about money? Is it just about material wealth? What is the definition of thriving? The definition of thriving comprises of many things. And yes, money is part of the equation. Having a bit of wealth, maybe a luxurious car, a nice house, yes, it's all part of that. But the true definition of thriving is having good health, is being surrounded by family, friends, your loved ones, is living a life of passion, being able to contribute into the society that you live in. That's another important thing. If you are in the UK, US, Canada, if you've moved abroad and you only focus on working, raising money, working, and you don't take the time to engross yourself in what is going on around you, to become a part of the community, to contribute to the community, to do something within that community, that is not thriving. So contributing to other people, to the community, is the definition of thriving. And also being of sound mind, body, and soul. And you can achieve all these things if you strike the right balance in life. That is the only way you can achieve this. You need to have a wholesome life. Working, going home, sleeping, eating, working, going home, sleeping, eating. That's not a wholesome life. That's not thriving. For you to say that I am truly, truly thriving, you need all of that. Most of us lack that balance, and that is why we live miserable lives. We need that balance because there are other things, mind you, working against us as immigrants living in a foreign land. There are other things that I've talked about endlessly on this channel. And I've made several videos talking about our challenges abroad, several videos on this channel, and I've made playlists. You can look around and see. I've talked about challenges and I've come from all angles when it comes to challenges. I have done that. So we've got all these things to contend with. The last thing you want is to be depriving yourself of a bit of joy, a bit of rest, a bit of relaxation. You know, all those things that make life worth living. You deserve that. So really, this is what I wanted to talk about in this video. I don't know what your thoughts are when it comes to this issue of balance. Are we doing it right? Are we getting it right? What do you think about balance? What other suggestions can you come up with when it comes to balance? I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Feel free to fill in those gaps because that's what this community is about. It's about coming together, sharing ideas, helping each other grow, helping each other navigate this thing called life. Because life, I tell you, it's hard. It is hard. So as always, I hope you found this video useful. If you want more content like this and haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and share. I'll see you next time. Take care.